Tell me something. What hisses people off about religion and politics? I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to tell you just really what does it. So stick with me. Stay with me. Okay. Hello, I'm Dr. Ed Montgomery. Welcome to Vintage Wisdom. Vintage Wisdom is about grapes. It's about crushed grapes, but grapes are crushed at the right place, and based on when those grapes are used and harvested and everything, that becomes the vintage. And the vintage just doesn't mean old, it means the best. So sometimes you realize that this is new wine, new fresh wine, poured into new wineskin. So as the structure expands and the wine expands, so does the structure. So welcome to Vintage Wisdom. Come on up. Take a seat, get a little closer to the table. I'm so glad you are here. So take a moment and hit that like button, thumbs up, or whatever you are. If you're on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Smash it, crash it, hit it, click it, do whatever you need to do. But make sure you hit it because it helps the algorithms. And so you're concerned about algorithms. I'm always concerned about algorithms because algorithms is what drives social media. So you got to deal with it because it's there. So make sure you do that. I am the spiritual leader of Abundant Life Cathedral, Abundant Life Center in Katy, Texas, and right outside of Houston, Texas. Been in Houston for over 40 years, and now we're doing Abundant Life Center in Katy, which is a totally new expression. You'll enjoy it. But I'm here with you today because Vintage Wisdom is special. And it's where I just get a chance to talk to you, just open up and just say whatever. Look, if you've seen any of our past shows, especially I think this past, it's probably the one coming up that I dealt with or I talked about Cat Williams, I talked about Shannon Sharp, and I dealt with that whole thing. Yes, I hadn't watched it before, but I said, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch 5 minutes of it. Well, 5 turned to 10, 10 turned to 20, and next thing I know, I was into it and I was watching the whole thing. And it was interesting. I thought it was wonderful. And some of the insights that was brought out from a whole different viewpoint. But one of the things I began to realize listening to people, and not just listening to Cat and Shannon, but listening to people I talked to through the week, looking at some of the comments that people make, and make sure you hit those comments. Let me know what city you are in, where you're watching from. If you're watching from another city other than Houston, let me know. If you're watching from another state other than Texas, let me know. Another country other than U.S., let me know. And so talking to people, when you're out on the street, they don't know who you are. What you discover is that so many things are going on in religion and politics that you're asking yourself the question, I'm wondering how anybody ever walks back in a church or talks to a minister or talks about anything spiritual at all, because right now people are talking about, well, I'm spiritual, but I'm not religious. I'm not a religious person, but I'm a spiritual person. And so a lot of things are going on in religion, and a lot of things are going on in politics. And here is what is hissing folk off. They're having a hissy fit about this. That's old. It is, okay, how do I say this? It is not that people don't like God or like religion or like, what people, they may like a little lemon or milk in their tea, or they might like a little cream in their coffee. But what they don't like is a little or a lot of hypocrisy in their religion or their politics. That's the catch. What people are saying is, I'd rather you let me see who you are, be who you be, and then give me the opportunity to decide whether I want to engage with you, hook up with you, follow after what you're talking about or what you're saying, and make the decision based on what you are and who, how I hook up with people. You know as well as I know that you don't want to hook up with people who look at you. Okay, what is that? What is that term? Guys, help me out. What is that term when you're looking at a dating site and the picture of the person, I mean, they so fine on that picture. But if you ever meet them, that's not the person. What do they call? Catfish. Catfished, right. So if you hook up, listen, I've never been catfished because I've never done anything like that. But if they're saying if you hook up with somebody, just be who you are. Because one of the things you learn, if you be who you are, you will attract who you be. Let me say that again. Be who you are, and you will attract who you be. Now, that might not be the right grammar, but here's what it says. If you let yourself be just who you are, you will attract the people who like you for you, or who will ultimately, as time goes on, if they stick with you, love you for you. Then if you do that, guess what? You don't have to start explaining yourself later on when you start when your mask gets crooked, or starts slipping off and people are able to see who you really are. Then they say, well, I didn't think that's who you were. And you've been that all along when you're this. And now they have to make a decision whether or not they want to engage with this. And everybody has a little of that in their religion, seemingly. In other words, that little bit of hypocrisy. Now, vintage wisdom always deals with the spiritual aspects around things. So I'm going to bring something here. Genesis chapter 1. And it opens up by saying, in the beginning, God. God is a symbol, so God is whatever you think God to be. I don't know if I had time to explain it, but whatever you see God to be, God is different for each of us. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now, here comes verse 2. Here's how it comes. It says, and the earth was without form, void, dark. And the waters were all around, more chaotic than anything. It said, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And then God said something. God said something. But I'm not that ready for that. Because right there in the beginning of the second verse, it says, and the earth was without form. Now think about this. There was an earth, but it had no form. Which means there's a possibility of us being us, but we don't quite have our form yet. In other words, I'm not up to form. I'm not up to par. I'm not up to being who I really be. So I exist, but am I formed yet? Are you formed yet? Are you ready to come out on stage and say, this is who I am. And I think sometimes we look at ourselves or our image of ourselves as being unformed. And we don't want people to know who or what we are. So guess what? We get our mask on. We put on a new character. We create a different laugh. We create a different smile. We create a different look. We create all of these things. And after a while, we get used to the way we have created ourselves and begin to teach ourselves that this is who we really are until something happens and we realize who we really are is now beginning to come out. And when people see it, they're not happy because we portrayed to be something else. Oh, this is gonna get good because I'm gonna talk about this, and it's like this water. Okay. Oh, and before I forget, take a moment, and I have down there a number for text to give, and take the time right where you are. And all this month of January, right at the beginning of this year, 2024, which is the number of new beginnings, 224, which is 8, the number of new beginnings. Our goal is 2025 because our goal is to re-educate ourselves, to get our emotions together, to really take a look at what's going on, build the platforms, build all the things we need to build so we will be ready to function in 2025 like never before. Because let me tell you something, all H-E double hockey stick, Hellman's mayonnaise is about to break loose in 2024. And you're gonna have to be ready for it. And in order to be ready for it is to get yourself together spiritually, your character, your intent, all of that. You got to get yourself together and get it ready. That's where you take in this time and what it will do. So you will know exactly how you're supposed to be function and can have the right function and have the right people around you in this new year. So hit that 713-742-2035 and give. It can be $9.90 or $9.99. Put those nines in there. It might be $90. It might be $1.99 or $2.90. It doesn't matter what it is, but put some nines in that number to let yourself know that I'm preparing myself for 2025. You say, but that's a whole nother year. Listen, you better get ready because it's about to get chaotic out here. People got their masks on and you don't know who they are. And you're going to have to learn how to have that intent and to know who they are. Okay, let me explain to you. I got this this water. They gave me something. And it's this new thing. I wanted to curb some of that sugar and get some of that sugar out of my life. And what they gave me was these little packets. Some people probably know what they are. It's 0 sugar in them. And you pour them in your water bottle and, shake it up and everything. And it's sweet or has a certain taste. You can get the taste of, I like the Hawaiian punches. They got Skittles. They got all these different tastes. But there's no sugar in them. Now, if you're used to that and you know that taste, you can taste a little bit on the back of your tongue or whatever. But after a while, you'll get used to it. And so every time you've taken a little bit of sugar out of your life. And then when you go back to try to drink a soda or something, and that's one of the things I was cutting down on, you notice those sodas are now very, very sweet because you're used to taking some of that sugar out. Now, don't get me wrong. I know there's some artificial sweeteners there, but I'll deal with it for a little while. And after a while, I'll start cutting down with that and gradually pulling yourself down. But the thing is, it can portray itself as one thing. And mine was orange, so that kind of tastes like Tang. If some of you remember Tang. But it may look like it, taste a little like it, but that's not really what it is. It's something different. And once you understand it, now you know how to deal with it. And this is why you have to open yourself up, being who you are. But not only that, you got to know who that other person is. This is why you got to take some of that hypocrisy out of your religion and your politics. Not just some of it. You're going to have to get all of it out. I know you think people won't vote for me if I don't act a certain way. I know my publicists and my PR people told me if I do this, people will vote for me. If I shake this right hand or go over this place, people will vote for me and to be nice and to be this and to be that. But if there's anything I learned from watching that interview with Cat Williams and Shannon Sharp, you know, they were being themselves. They were there in the beginning. But the more they drunk that cognac, yeah, I know what I'm saying. The more they drunk that cognac, the more they became themselves. Because you could tell it. You know, they was just coming at you like that. So the more you begin to drop the masks, and the more you begin to realize the earth is without form. Our lives in the beginning are without form. Sometimes you got to be real with yourself and say, maybe things about my life right here is not formed exactly the way I want it to be. Now you can pretend to be the greatest guy in the world, but you got to be real with her. She has to see who you are. Now, she may not like who you are. She may run from who you are, guys. But at least she will know who she's dealing with. And if you keep practicing being who you really are, you're going to get good at it. And the person that needs to hook up with you, once you are formed, then the earth, you have been spoken to be. The earth was without form. In other words, it may not have form yet, but it's still the earth. You may not have form yet, but you still are all you can possibly be. It's just that you're being formed. I think that's where your prayer becomes. Before you go to sleep, Lord, I'm willing to be formed. Form is education. Form is all of these things. How do you form? How do you form things when you're dealing in this darkness? Because that's what the earth was. It was dark. In the beginning, it was chaotic. In the beginning, it was a place that you just didn't want to be. It was an earth without form. Some of you in relationships, you have thought about that? We may not want to be in this relationship in 2024. Think about that. You might still be living in an earth or a relationship without form. You might be on a job without form. You might be in a career without form. Maybe the career you're in or the person you're with is not ready for you yet. Maybe when you take off the mask or when you show who you really are, maybe you have this cool, sexy laugh. But maybe inside of you is really a nice geek laugh or, it's a goofy laugh. And you're hiding that. And you're afraid. And maybe it slips out and the person gets turned off. If they get turned off by your goofy laugh, it means to kind of let things go because there are going to be other things that are going to be turned off by. And so now when it's ready for that person to enter into your sanctuary, look, my time is up. And I will say that I am going to pick up from right where I left off next week on Vintage Wisdom. How has religion, politics, how has it hissed off so many people We're going to talk about it some more next week. Don't leave me. I'll be back within about 6 days and so many hours. All right. Let me break in here for a second. I want to tell you a little secret. There is something I used to do. It was commodity trading. And they used to have something on the list called winter wheat. I never knew what it was, never paid any attention to it because in my northern background, all I saw in the winter was hard ground, snow. How could anything grow? Well, I learned different. I learned that winter wheat was something that was planted around the fall, around September, October. And when it was planted, they didn't just throw the seed out there on the ground. Of course, it would be too hard. But they drilled down into the earth and almost like planted them one by one. Now, when the snow came and the winter came, it would go dormant. But when the spring came, it would come up again. And they would harvest it around that time. Winter wheat. In other words, there are things in our lives that we plant in times when people think they won't grow. There's a number 9 that I believe symbolizes finality. It symbolizes harvest. It symbolizes the end of something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10, you start all over again. This is 2024. 2, 2, 4 equals 8, new beginnings. But watch this. You can plant during the new beginnings, but you can't eat the harvest until later. When you plant something, it takes time. Sometimes it's dormant. Sometimes there's a winter. Sometimes you feel like everything is shut down, just like the earth is shut down in the winter. But you know what? Spring is coming. A different kind of growth is about to take place. So what you thought was not going to happen is going to happen. It's a seed that you plant in the earth. The seed and the need. The need is in the seed, and the seed is in the need. So whatever it is that you need, and whatever needs you see around you, plant it. It might be $9.90. It might be, for those of you who have it, and people have it, it might be $90.90, or it might be $99.90, whatever. Put a 9 in that offering. It might just be $9, whatever it is. Take the time, plant it now. You can call the number, you can text to give. People love it. 713-742-2035. That's 713-742-2035. Or you can go to myalc.org. I love myalc.org. It's safe, it's secure. And you can hit that donate button, smash it, crash it, hit it. Let it be known that you're there. And you will see how to do it. Look, there are a lot of needs around in this world. There's going to be a lot of issues coming up. It's going to look like everything is lying dormant. But remember, if you put your seed in the ground, it's already coming up while you're not thinking about it. In the wintertime, it's not the heat from the sun outside that will grow this seed. Guess what? It's going to be the warmth of the sun inside that will make this seed come to life. It's going to be a warmth, like warm oil inside of you. Give, you'll feel it, and it will make a difference not only in the lives of others, but also in your life. All right? We love you. Stay blessed. Hey, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit that subscribe button, smash it, crash it. Let us know you're there.